intro, my lovely intro. This is my intro, my lovely intro. I'm new to YouTube, so I don't know how to do what I'm doing, but I'm doing it anyway. Anyway, guys. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did, because that's probably going to be the intro for the next 50 million years. So guys, if you don't know who I am, my name is Sabetha Price, and I'm the owner and operator of the Fit Fine Flawless, keeping you flawless, baby, and on your toes. I sell waist trainers, detox teas. Everything is handmade, handcrafted by me, as well as growth creams and things of that nature. But that is not why we're here. The reason why we're here is to talk about mental health and owning your truth. Guys, a lot of times, especially in my community, the African American community, I know I look racially ambiguous, but I identify as a Black woman. So in the African American community, we don't really want to talk about mental health. We want to just be like, you know what, we could just pray it away. We could just, go to God and the universe and it'll just work itself out. Guys, that's partially true. I'm not taking your faith away from you at all, but sometimes you got to add a little extra. Sometimes you got to beef it up. Beefaroni it. Just pump it up. Boom. So one thing that I have learned from being an entrepreneur for so many years, sure, I've had other gigs. I worked other places. I've been to school. I have my education. I have a bachelor's degree. Aside from that, I've always owned my own business. I started my own business back in 2012, and surprisingly, the first time I ran into this monster called depression was in 2010, was when my first episode happened. So I was able to transfer all of my good feelings that I had into businesses that make me money, that, provide the lifestyle that I want while still addressing my mental health. I had not developed my own personal care plan until I went through years of therapy. And I used to be ashamed. I used to be like, oh my goodness, nobody needs to know that I suffer from depression. And I just gonna be like this for the rest of my life. No, you're not. You just gotta ride that wave, baby. Especially as an entrepreneur. So if you had this thing called seasonal depression, you are in the perfect place. Because during those happy times, during those happy moments, that is the time where you work and you grind and you don't hustle. You align with your purpose and your truth and your why, and you just bang out content. You make content and you plan content for the entire year. That's one of the things that I did. When I'm in my happy space, I develop content for at least 2 to 3 weeks at a time, because it's like a freight train. You know it's coming. It's like driving a Ferrari and you about to crash into a brick wall. It's like you don't really know exactly when it's going to come, but it will come. And when it does come, you're down for the count. But that doesn't mean that you are out of the game. So one thing that I have developed was all of my content for Facebook, Instagram, because that's where most of my sales come from outside things. From social media is like the way that my company was built, and it's the way that my company will continue to flourish, because a lot of people on social media want to get a smaller waist, a bigger butt, but they're becoming way more health conscious, and that's what I have to offer. So if you do have a social media presence, which I do recommend, you plan content ahead. On top of that, you need to have a team around you. Even if it's just one person in your team, even if it's just your husband, your wife, your boo thing, whatever, encouraging you along the way. Because one of the things that could be the most discouraging thing in the world is that you have somebody that doesn't really support your dream or see your vision. So you need to surround yourself with like-minded people who just want to see you win, baby. I want to see you win. And on top of that, you need to save the money that you made from the year and put it towards ads, like really good content that you have on your page that possibly went viral. Pay social media influencers that could continue to share your brand while you're going through your transitional period. While you're in that dark space, It's important to remember that you're not going to be there forever. It may be 2 weeks, it may be 3 weeks, it may be a month, it may be a little bit longer, but you're not going to be there forever. Remember the happy times. Remember that the main reason that people become depressed is not only because of a chemical imbalance, but it's also because we're focused on the past, focused on past failures. But that failure does not define you. And if you suffer from anxiety as well, that's because we're focused too far in the future. I encourage you to practice mindfulness. What I do every single day when I wake up, I practice mindfulness. And if I'm really having a rough time, I practice mindfulness when I go to bed too. Like, I am constantly meditating, constantly talking to my higher power, constantly focusing on the fact that where I am now does not define me. Where I was in my dark place does not define me. What defines me is me. And, at the end of the day, you are a child of the Most High, or you're a piece of the Creator, so you already won. So take this time to recover, actually focus on you. Focus on what makes you happy. And if that means that you can't hang out with certain people for a couple weeks, or you can't take phone calls for a couple weeks, explain to them what's going on. And if they think that you're crazy, if they don't want to be associated with you because they think that you're flaking off or being fake, but in all actuality, you just dealing with some shit, you don't need them. You don't need them in your life. So guys, things to take away. If you own a business, this is what I encourage you to do. What has it worked for me? So I plan my content really far in advance, like focusing on trends of where social media can potentially go. And I put them on Planoly. And Planoly allows you to plan up to a month at a time. Well, with my plan, a month at a time, because, I'm not paying the big bucks. I'm maintaining, you feel me? So plan your content ahead of time. You can even plan with Facebook ahead of time. And I believe that you can also plan with Pinterest ahead of time. And then surround yourself with people who encourage you, who continuously encourage you and pour into you throughout the year, throughout your dark space. And then I will also encourage you to practice mindfulness. 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night. Once you become a G at it, you could do 40 minutes to an hour in the morning, 40 minutes to an hour at night. Just constantly realigning with your higher purpose. So guys, if you suffer from depression, I don't like to call it suffering. If you have this thing called depression, it does not define you. If you have this thing called anxiety, it does not define you. If you have this thing called bipolar disorder, it does not define you. What defines you is you, and the fact that you are connected to the Most High or a piece of the higher power. That means that you already won. You got this, baby. Be blessed and stay prosperous. Deuces.